The most disturbing family drama you've ever been a part of. My younger sister calls me daddy and my father despises me for it. I'm 24 and am the older brother to my little sister, Belle, who is 5 years old. Growing up, our parents were hardly present and I always had to take care of her. My parents had me as teenagers. They were 15 and 16 at the time, and even as a kid, I could always feel that they regretted having me. After I was born, both my mother and father were practically disowned by their family. My mother had to drop out of high school to take care of me while my father worked 2 jobs just to provide, and even then they couldn't afford a home. They lived with my mother's older sister until I was 9 and my father got his GED and managed to get a better job and move us out. Despite the fact our living situation was better, it was clear to me that they believed their lives were ruined because of me. Whenever I misbehaved like any normal child, they'd use the fact that they gave up their lives for me, and I still had the audacity to behave like this. And even when I never misbehaved, they never treated me with much love. I rarely got new clothes. They'd get my clothes from Goodwill and practically refused to get me anything nice unless they had to. My birthdays were always celebrated with the bare minimum. They'd get me a cupcake and a single gift, never anything I wanted. Despite everything, I was still a child who just wanted their love, but as I grew older I began to accept I wouldn't get it and made peace with that. Somewhere along the line, when my parents realized I had given up on them, throughout my teen years they began to treat me better, but at that point I wasn't the child who begged for their love anymore. I never received the love of my parents and I wasn't asking for it any longer. Although I can't say I kept hating them. In fact, my feeling began to feel neutral towards them. In my eyes we were practically strangers, and I never got to know them truly as they raised me with the bare minimum and never had any real conversations with me and never spent any quality time with me. They also knew nothing about me, so suddenly trying to play parents with me was awkward, to say the least. When I was 18 my mother got pregnant, and I guess that was when they gave up on trying to fix things with me so they could have a new child to start over with. They didn't treat me poorly again, but instead, it felt like we were strangers living in the same home. When I turned 19 my mother gave birth to a baby girl, but due to some complications, she didn't end up surviving. This crushed my father. Not only did he begin to resent me for not being as sad as he was over her death, but she was barely a mother to me, so there wasn't much to be sad over, but he also blamed his daughter for killing his wife. He was never home after the incident and I was left taking care of my sister.